Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Mr. Secretary, always good to see you. I want to start here because you are somebody who's been a strong voice about warning against China and its intentions for years. What do you make coming out of this summit? Are we to believe at least what they've agreed to so far, or reassured President Trump with regard to that so far?
Well, good morning, Shannon. Look, in the end, Xi Jinping has lied multiple times to multiple presidents. The proof will be, does he really follow through? The commercial arrangement, buying Boeing airplanes, that's fantastic. It sounds like he made some commitments on fentanyl precursors. We've seen that story before where they actually didn't follow through in a way that was serious or substantial. And so the proof is in the pudding. He told President Obama he wouldn't militarize islands. He lied to us about the virus that came from his lab. Xi Jinping has a mission set. When he threatened us with respect to Taiwan, he was serious. And we need to make sure we're eyes wide open. And I'm glad President Trump is certainly that.
Well, what do you make about the conversation and what the president has told us about his readout of a conversation with President Xi with respect to Taiwan? Because he says Xi pressed him a lot. Are you going to come to their defense? What are you going to do? There are a lot of questions about whether we're slow walking everything that we could provide to them, this tens of billions that they've ordered from us with respect to weapons and machinery and that kind of thing.
President Trump has provided more weapons, defensive weapon systems to Taiwan, I think, than any previous administration, and I think they're continuing to do that. They've built out relationships with the Japanese government and the South Koreans that are ways that are going to deter Xi Jinping and China. Whatever Xi Jinping may have said, I'm confident President Trump delivered a message that the United States understands how important Taiwan is, not just to our geopolitical interests, but to our commercial interests as well. The AI fight largely takes place there, and President Trump is not going to permit Xi Jinping to do something that would jeopardize the American economy in that way.
Okay, so of course Iran is a huge issue, and here's a little bit what the president said about his conversation with Xi on that issue.
He said he's not going to give military equipment. That's a big statement. He said that today. That's a big statement. He said that strongly. But at the same time, he said, you know, they buy a lot of their oil there, and they'd like to keep doing that. He'd like to see Hormuz Strait opened.
So this gets to some of your point in the past that Xi has lied about things in the past. There were reports just weeks ago that there were attempts possibly to get some weaponry to Iran, possibly through third-party countries. Do you think they're going to assist Iran in a military capacity?
Shannon, I think they likely already are. I think what she said there may well be true at some level. We're not going to send weapons. They're not going to send tanks and airplanes. But massive pieces of the Iranian machine, the components, the things that go into their long-range missile systems, the things that go into their radar systems, the tools, the components, those are Chinese components. I doubt seriously that Xi Jinping will stop that. They have a deep and long relationship with the regime in Iran. It's useful to them because the Iranian regime makes life difficult for the United States. And while it is true that I think Xi would like to have the strait open, I think that's true. He'd like to have that oil. Yeah, he also wants to make sure that he doesn't lose his foothold in the Middle East, which is this regime in Iran.
Well, I want to quickly ask you about Kharg Island because our Lauren Simonetti continues to do a ton of reporting on that, what's getting in, what's getting out. Apparently, the capacity for storage there is beyond what are considered safe levels. It's now at about 85% with this product having nearly nowhere to go. Now, we also have reports from Lauren that there are some ships that have gotten around the U.S. blockade there in and out of Iranian ports. What do you make of that situation and the potential ripple impact on, global economies all over the place?
Shannon, you and I spoke about this when the blockade first began, right? Eventually, you can only store so much oil in so many tanks and so many ships offshore. I doubt very many or a significant amount of ships were actually loaded or offloaded out of Kharg Island. We would see that and know that in instantaneous timeline. And so this will be a real problem for the regime. What is it they're going to do? They're going to have to shut in their fields. And we talked about the fact that these blockades are effective, but that they also take time. And I think what Secretary Besson said reflects exactly that. We've been at this for several weeks now. Every day that goes on, the economic hardship for this regime, their ability to pay their soldiers and their sailors gets more difficult. The blockade is effective and is a useful tool to achieve America's objectives with respect to Iran.
Secretary Pompeo, always great to chat with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shannon. Have a great weekend.